Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but are not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hands be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, he loves the bow that is stable. Welcome to Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. I am the Reverend Tiffany Sapp, the minister of this church, and I'm so glad you could be with us today. If you're with us on the internet, or if you're with us sitting in the chairs around me, we are one community, united in our commitment to each other and our commitment to live out our principles in the world. I am so happy to offer a special welcome to the folks who are visiting today because they are joining our social justice team on the bus to DC for the Poor People's Campaign next weekend. We thank you for your commitment to economic and racial justice, and we are so glad to offer you this hospitality. I've just gotten word that we still have several already paid for seats available on our bus, as a few folks have had to drop out. So if you've been thinking about how you maybe might want to take this trip to DC on Saturday, you still have a chance, and at no charge. Just get with Bob, who's probably setting stuff up right now. Oh, no, there he is. Just get with Bob. As Unitarian Universalists, we draw our inspiration and our guidance from many, many sources, from ancient sacred poetry to personal experiences to pop culture. There is so much fuel for the fires of inspiration and justice, and we want to use it all. Today, even before I became a mom, cartoon movies made for kids and families were often a source of meaning for me. And so I turned to Disney's Encanto and Pixar's Turning Red as my sacred texts for today. Mirabel in Encanto is the odd one out in a very large family because they all have magical gifts, and Mirabel does not. Maylin in Turning Red is an only child who ends up with the family curse of turning into a giant red panda once puberty hits. Later, they find out it's more of a gift than a curse. Both girls experience the challenge of carrying their family's generational pain and become a source of healing for their families by learning to love who they are just as they are. I cannot connect these stories to our own invitations to generational healing and understanding without giving some spoilers, so I hope you will forgive me for doing so. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can always pause this and go watch the two movies right now. Sorry that y'all don't have that option. Sarah is bringing us the chalice lighting, which are some words of wisdom from Turning Red.
Jin Lee is Maylin's father, who largely stays out of the family conflict, but does everything he can to support his wife and their daughter. When the whole family is trying to help Maylin get rid of her inner panda, her dad finds a video of her playing and making music videos with her friend, using her panda transformation as a playful character in their creativity. She's embarrassed that Dad caught her indulging in this part of herself that she was supposed to be repressing. But instead of offering her judgment, he offers her acceptance. During this crucial time in the story, he offers these words of wisdom to his daughter. People have all kinds of sides to them, and some sides are messy. The point isn't to push the bad stuff away. The point is to make room for it, to live with it. Today, we light this chalice to honor the messy parts of ourselves and make room for all that we are. Good morning. I am Sarah, your service leader here at Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. We welcome you, old friends and new, young and old. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday with us, we are stronger because of your presence. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. For today's story of all ages, we are going to invite 2 resident experts on Encanto to share with us what they know. We'd like to invite Audrey and Haley to come join Reverend Tiffany for this interview.
And I hear that you guys like Encanto, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what's your favorite part?
My favorite part is when Lisa sings her song.
I have good news for you then. We are going to hear that song today. What's your favorite part?
The same thing.
Okay. You know, sometimes sisters like the same thing, and that is good news for you all. It's also okay if we have different opinions today, though. So, who's your favorite character?
Minabelle.
And you're wearing her dress, aren't you?
Yes.
Nice. Who's your favorite character?
Antonio.
Now, tell everyone who Antonio is.
Antonio is the one who can speak to animals.
That's a pretty cool power, isn't it? So, who's the hero of the movie?
Mirabelle.
What do you think?
Mirabelle.
Okay, so we know she's the hero. And why is she the hero of the movie?
Because I don't know.
And that's okay too. Sometimes we have to figure that out, right? Do you have an opinion about why she's the hero?
Yes. I forgot.
It's complicated, right? Yeah. So here's maybe a tough one, and it's okay if this is a tough answer because I'm struggling with this one, so I'm hoping you can help me out too. Who's the bad guy in this story?
I watched on YouTube. I watched a film theory that it's Dolores, but if you don't, but in the movie, if you don't see any clues, it's no one.
Okay, so someone thinks Dolores is the bad guy probably because she has super hearing and hears all this stuff going on and doesn't do anything about it. Is that right?
Yeah. And and on the new door when Mirabelle puts the door handle on, if you look closely at Dolores on the door, she's the only one that looks sad.
Okay, interesting. See, we get lots of interesting dialogue about this online. What do you think about who's the bad guy?
I think it's I forget her name, but she's the grandma.
You think Grandma's the bad guy? She kind of has a grandma vibe to her sometimes. But I think the no one answer is an interesting one too, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. What is the lesson from Encanto?
That you should appreciate who you are, gift or no gift.
The lesson of Encanto is you should appreciate who you are, gift or no gift. That's it. Let's go home. We're done. That was very good. Do you want my job? No, the look on her face is like, no. All right, do you have anything to add to what the lesson is?
It's the same, just I just use different words, like you don't have to have a gift to be happy.
You don't have to have a gift to be happy. That's good. Well, I just want to thank you both for sharing your thoughts, and I really appreciate having some folks up here who probably know the movie better than me. So thank you, and y'all can go sit back down now if you want to. So one of my favorite characters is Louisa as well. She's one of Mirabel's older sisters, and she's gifted with the power of super strength. And because of that, she lives a life of service to her family and to the entire village. She helps nearby villagers by rerouting rivers, by moving the town's church a little bit to the left, and by constantly collecting everybody's escaped donkeys. She probably relates to the donkeys, since her strength means that she ends up being the one to carry everybody's burdens. During this song that we've already alluded to, she has been asked by her sister Mirabel what's wrong, and it turns out that quite a bit is wrong. Karis is going to share her version of surface pressure in her unique style.
So when Tiffany asked me to do this song, for those of you that have heard it, it is quite the song. And I was very nervous about doing it, and in our conversations, I said, well, I might have to omit some parts, and I might have to sing it kind of like an old country tune. She laughed too. But of course, in typical Tiffany fashion, she said, oh, it'll be just fine, whatever you do, you know, we love it, it's fine, it'll all be fine. But I worked very, very hard to get this song as close to the original version as I possibly could in honor of Tiffany. So let's see how it goes. Okay. I'm the strong one, I'm not nervous, I'm as tough as the crust of the earth is. I move mountains, I move churches, and I glow 'cause I know what my worth is. I don't ask how hard the work is. Got a rough, indestructible surface. Diamonds and platinum, I find them, I flatten them. I take what I'm handed, I break what's demanded. But under the surface, I feel berserkous as a tightrope walker in a three-ring circus. Under the circus was Hercules like, yo, I really don't want to fight Cerberus. Under the surface, I feel like I'm pretty worthless if I cannot be of service. A flaw or a crack, a straw in the stack. What breaks the camel's back? What breaks the camel's back? It's pressure like a drip, drip, drip that'll never stop. Whoa, a pressure that'll tip, tip, tip till you just go pop. Whoa, oh, oh. I give it to your sister's older. Give her all the heavy things we can't shoulder. Who am I if I can't run with the ball? If I fall to pressure like a grip, 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 and it won't let go. Whoa, a pressure like a tick, tick, tick till it's ready to blow. Whoa, oh, oh. I give it to your sister's stronger. See if she can hang on a little longer. Who am I if I can't carry it all? If I falter, under the pressure. I hide my nerves and it worsens. I worry something's gonna hurt us under the pressure. The ship doesn't swerve as it hurt how big the iceberg is under the surface. I think about my purpose. Can I somehow preserve this? Line up the dominoes, a light wind blows. You try to stop it tumbling, but on and on it goes. But wait, if I could shake the crushing weight of expectations, would that free some room for joy or relaxation or simple pleasure? Instead we measure this growing pressure keeps growing, keep going, 'cause all we know is pressure like a dip, dip, dip that'll never stop. Whoa, a pressure that'll tip, tip, tip till you just go pop. Whoa, I give it to your sister, it doesn't hurt, and see if she can handle every family burden. Watch as she buckles and bends, but never breaks. No mistakes, just pressure like a grip, 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 and it won't let go. Whoa, a pressure like a tick, 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 till it's ready to blow. Whoa, I give it to your sister and never wonder if the same pressure wouldn't pull you under. Who am I if I don't have what it takes? No mistakes, no pressure.
Thanks. It'll be fine. You'll do great. Wow. Oh. So, we have a very special moment here today because we are getting to bless our bus riders. In our commitment to build a world community of love, our religious tradition calls us to go out into the wider world and do the work of justice. There are a lot of ways to do that, and everyone has different gifts to share. Next Saturday, a large number of you all from this church and a large number of people from the Tri-Cities community will load up onto a bus at 12:30 a.m., ride the bus all the way up to Washington, D.C., march in the Poor People's Campaign, and then ride all the way home, returning to Bristol sometime around 11:30 p.m. This is a 23-hour road trip. A large undertaking to be sure, but one that will let the world know that East Tennessee cares about racial and economic justice. We wish to bless and celebrate all the people who will be going with us to DC, whether they are on the bus or not. If you're headed to the Poor People's Campaign March next weekend, or even if you've just now decided that you want to go and that you're going to talk to Bob about it after the service, will you please either stand or raise your hand if you're going? All right, you gotta stay standing because we want to bless you. And if you've sponsored a seat or done something else to help with the organizing efforts, will you please raise your hand or stand with them? It's funny how people are shy about that. I am so grateful to see how many of you have chosen to put your values into practice in such a brave and bold way, and we would like to say a little blessing over you. If, like me, you're unable to attend the march but would like to bless these folks who are, I invite you to hold a hand out to them so that you can send your hopes along with them as I say these words. May you be safe. May you be free from all harm. As the road carries you toward your fellow pilgrims, may you sense the presence of those of us who travel with you in spirit, whose hopes and hearts are tucked into your pockets, who names your journey's purpose as sacred. May you encounter strangers as kindred, and may that recognition of kinship bring joy to your journey. Whether the faces in the crowds number in the dozens, hundreds, or thousands, may you not only recognize yourself, but may you also witness a dazzling tapestry of colors, languages, genders, ages, and bodies, proud testament to and humbling display of our human family. May the crowds be gentle, friendly, and patient, and if not, may the spirit of playfulness appoint you as its momentary agent. May you offer quiet praise for gestures of kindness. May all bodies, vessels of spirit and soul, be treated as the gifts that they are. May the sturdiest of marchers make space for those who need more time, more help, or different means of moving. May those bearing snacks share generously with others. May you fuel yourself wisely and hydrate more than you think you need to. In your hour of need, may you find a restroom easily, and may it accommodate your body's gender, size, and abilities. May the line for the restroom be short, and if not, may you delight in the impulse to connect in ways mundane and profound. And amid the heady flurry of selfies and hashtags, may you remember the commitment that led you there and what will be required of the road ahead. Gather it all up, blessed ones. Let it feed you. Allow the crowd's electric thrum to seep into you, knitting itself into courage, into holy boldness, into fuel for the journey back and the journey forward. Go with our thanks and blessings. You may be seated. So much to celebrate today. These Tri-Cities bus riders are a joy, and it is our practice as a community to bring our joys and our sorrows to each other. Joys are worth sharing, and our burdens are too, because they are lighter when we hold them together. And so we bring all that we are to this community. If you'd like to share a joy or concern in person, use these candle cards, which are located right there. And if you'd like to share a joy or concern from a distance, please email minister@hvuuc.org. And I have had several come in from online today. A special joy and thank you to CareNet Community Conservation Committee of the Tennessee Sierra Club, Upper East Tennessee Central Labor Council, and Taste Buds of Johnson City for making special contributions to the DC trip in the form of food or financial support. A special joy and thank you to Bob and Noel, who have poured everything they are into organizing this bus trip to DC. The day that you hitched your stars to our congregation was such a gift to this community. Thank you. A candle of concern for Sarah W.'s father, whose dad just found out he had a very small heart attack when he had gone into the doctor to test something unrelated. Thankfully, he feels fine, but we're all very shaken to learn he had a heart attack. 3 candles of thanks from Beth C. to Sandra G., Alex S., and Greg K., who did a fabulous job sawing and lopping and lugging to help clear her very messy yard this week after the storms. I really love that. That's what community does. We help each other. and a joy from Cynthia celebrating the birthday of her sister with many family members that enjoyed a great celebration yesterday. If you want a candle to be lit for yourself, a loved one, or a situation close to your heart, I will invite you to make that request by standing or raising your hand when loving kindness plays, which will happen in just a minute. Then I will acknowledge each of you with a motion of my hand, and then you can sit down or lower your hand after I acknowledge you. And we light our first candle for you who are not in the building, but are ever in our hearts. The hymn is number 1031 and is in your teal hymnal, Filled with Loving Kindness. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole. And we light a final candle for all that remains unspoken in our hearts and minds.
In so many stories, things have to get really bad before they get better. In Encanto, Mirabel's attempts to save their magical house, but in the process, her conflict with her abuela, the family's matriarch, destroys their casita. In the process of the destruction, Mirabel also learns that her abuela endured tragic, heartbreaking hardship in order to get her small family to a safe place when she was a young mother. And that magic created the valley of what protected them all. Mirabel gained a new understanding of what abuela had gone through and why abuela feared losing the magic so much. And in that process, abuela also learned how her fearful reactions had harmed her granddaughter Mirabel, and learned to see Mirabel's worthiness just as she is. This reading is from the final song that they sing together as they begin to rebuild their home. Look at this home. We need a new foundation. It may seem hopeless, but we'll get by just fine. Look at this family, a glowing constellation so full of stars, and everybody wants to shine. But the stars don't shine, they burn, and the constellations shift. I think it's time you learn you're more than just your gift.
And I'm sorry I held on too tight, just so afraid I'd lose you too. The miracle is not some magic that you've got. The miracle is you, not some gift, just you. The miracle is you, all of you. We see how bright you burn. We see how brave you've been. Now see yourself in turn. You're the real gift, kid. Let us in. Open your eyes. Abre los ojos. What do you see?
I see me, all of me.
During my interview with our experts this morning, I was asking them a lot of questions about Encanto, and one of them was, who is the bad guy of this story? I ask because when I was a kid, my movies, especially my Disney movies, were much more straightforward. Ursula in The Little Mermaid, Gaston in Beauty and the Beast, ick, and Scar in The Lion King. There's not a lot of figuring out that has to happen here. You know who to cheer for and you know who the bad guy is. But for some of our newer movies, including Encanto and Turning Red, they have invited us to more nuance than that. Rather than an angry fairy queen that can put a whole kingdom into a coma and turn into a dragon, we have something scarier. A rebellious teenager. And adults who won't let young people be who they truly are or take what they have to offer seriously. It's scarier because it's real. I don't spend a lot of my time worrying about dragon attacks. I do spend my time worrying about potential conflicts with the people that I love the most, because these growing pains will present themselves in every family eventually. Mei Lin's story in Turning Red is almost archetypal in the way it portrays the rough transition from a child who wants to please her family to a young person trying to make their own way. In her opening monologue, she even says, "The least you can do is every single thing that your parents want." She tries to follow in the footsteps of her mother, who had also been a dutiful daughter in turn. She carries a strong sense of responsibility to her family, even when that means plastering on smiles when things are not okay. She's also a typical preteen with embarrassing crushes and an obsession with a boy band that she shares with her close-knit group of friends. These are things that Mei Lin's mother, Ming Li, finds really disturbing. And then, one day, Mei Lin wakes up to find out she is turned into a giant red panda. We learn, along with Mei Lin, that this is something that all the women in her family experience during puberty, but that they use family magic to banish the uncontrollable panda by enacting an ancient ritual during the full moon. But while they're waiting on the next full moon, Mei Lin and her friends discover that they actually like Mei Lin's panda. It's way less controlled than the eager to please Mei Lin had once been, but it's also a source of freedom and fun and creativity. The panda helps them achieve their dreams of seeing their favorite boy band in concert, and their friends become closer to each other. All of this happens outside of Mother Ming's fearful gaze, who thinks Mei Lin is still suppressing her panda like a good girl. But her friends see that she is flourishing and living her life for herself for the first time. When the night of the ritual comes and Mei Lin refuses to give up the panda, we see why Mother Ming is so afraid of Mei Lin's panda. Because Mom's panda is terrifying and truly destructive, and it comes out in its full glory when her daughter finally rebels. Mei Lin's extended family, including a very formidable grandmother, gets together with Mei Lin, her friends, and even their favorite boy band to complete the ritual to get Mei Lin's mother's panda under control. All the women in the family have to transform into their panda to have the strength to help her. This transports them to a magical realm where everyone's inner panda lives, where they can then release the panda and transform back into their more controlled selves. But Mei Lin doesn't want to let the panda go still. Grandma, who has been pushing both Ming and Mei Lin to get Mei Lin back under control, has been a judgmental and intimidating presence all the way up until this moment, but then she sees something in Mei Lin. The way Mei Lin works with her panda And she sees that Mei Lin is not going to give up this powerful new part of herself that she's discovered. And Grandma shrugs and says, "It's her life." And when I watch the scene, I see that Grandma Wu still doesn't really agree with Mei Lin's choice, but sees that it's her life. Isn't that part of this whole coming of age process? Even if we don't understand another's choice, there still comes a point where we have to let them make their choice. It's a powerful and confusing choice to say, I don't understand everything that's happening, but I know I love this person, and that they are going to have to start choosing their own path because they are the ones who are going to have to live their life. Mei Lin's mom passes through the portal to become herself again and knows that she's leaving her daughter to embrace her panda. And then she hesitates and she says, "No, Mei Mei, please, just come with me."
I'm changing, Mom. I'm finally figuring out who I am. But I'm scared it'll take me away from you.
Me too. I see you, Mei Mei. You try to make everyone happy but are so hard on yourself. And if I taught you that, I'm sorry. Don't hold back for anyone. The farther you go, the prouder I'll be. The farther you go, the prouder I'll be. It calls back to the Khalil Gibran poem that we started this service with. Whether we're looking at generational change or family change, those that come after us will be so far flung into the future that we can't even imagine how far they'll go or what they will find there. All we can do, if we're in the parent role or the wise elder role, is be that stable launching point. Be that steady bow that gives the arrow what it needs to fly. What holds Mei Lin's mom back is also what holds Mirabel's abuela back in Encanto. It's fear. There's a lot of parallels between these movies, which is why I needed to explore them together. Mirabel also carries a strong sense of responsibility to her family. Mirabel also begins by making a strong case that everything's just fine, but then grows to challenge that. Mirabel sees cracks forming in their magical house, the casita, and she sees her family members' gifts start to falter when Louisa's super strength stutters at a critical moment. She doesn't know the subtle threads and backstory to why holding the house together and keeping the magic strong is so important to Abuela. But the hints are there for us viewers all along. In the opening song, we hear Abuela sing, "We swear to always help those around us and earn the miracle that somehow found us. The town keeps growing, the world keeps turning, but work and dedication will keep the miracle burning, and each new generation must keep the miracle burning." Abuela sees the miracle of her family's gifts as an obligation to the entire town. It is a heavy burden that she's carrying, and Mirabel really doesn't see all of that. Just like Abuela doesn't really see how hurt Mirabel is to be pushed at the margins when her gift doesn't magically manifest during her gift ceremony when she's 5. Mirabel doesn't know that Bruno, the uncle that no one talks about, had a vision of their home breaking apart, and that Mirabel was the center of that vision. This is the fear that Abuela has been living with since Mirabel was 5. It's terrifying when you believe that the magic of your house is the only thing protecting the town from an outside evil. At the end, the home does break, but it is the rift between Mirabel and Abuela that breaks their home. And it is only then that Abuela sees how much her fear had hurt Mirabel. And that's when she finally tells her story, explaining where all of this fear is coming from. In a beautiful and heart-wrenching flashback, we see Abuela fall in love, marry, and have triplets. Then the village is attacked by bandits and they flee. Her husband, Pedro, gets between her and the bandits, and he's lost. And the power of that great love and loss creates the high mountains that protect the villagers that are left. It creates the casita, and it brings magic into the small family of one young mother and 3 infants, which would later grow into Mirabel's larger family. The miracle was born out of love and loss and was there for protection. But we see, as time goes by, that Abuela gets so obsessed with keeping the magic alive that she is incredibly hard on her entire family, especially Mirabel. She finishes her story by telling Mirabel, "I was given a miracle, a second chance, and I was so afraid to lose it that I lost sight of who our miracle was for. And I am so sorry. You never hurt our family, Mirabel. We are broken because of me."
Abuela, I can finally see. You lost your home, lost everything. You suffered so much all alone, so it would never happen again. We were saved because of you. We were given a miracle because of you. We are a family because of you. And nothing can ever be broken that we can't fix together.
Theologian Richard Rohr says that all great spirituality is about what we do with our pain. Abuela's response to her pain was to keep a tight rein of control over all that she felt responsible for, but she eventually found a way to let go and trust the next generation. Mirabel's response to the pain of rejection was to find a million other ways to contribute. In truth, she has more gifts than anyone. And then she bravely acknowledges that things were falling apart and seeks out the truth behind her family's pain. Maylin and her mother's response to their familial pain was to first try to conform to who they thought they were supposed to be, but then eventually decided that their relationship with each other was more important. We started this exploration by asking who the bad guy is, and dialogue in each movie points to the theme of not being good enough as being the true enemy. And this is why the universalist message of love and inherent worth is so foundational to generational healing. Nothing can ever be broken that we can't fix together. Generational differences are so hard because we assume that we should be able to understand each other already. We often project our assumptions onto each other and miss the real person inside. Yesterday, I was talking to someone who actually did some consulting around generational dynamics in the workplace, and she said that everyone does better when they approach other generations, whether older or younger, as if they were being visited by aliens. The different experiences, stories, media, and peers that we experience mean that we might as well be from a different world. When we start by acknowledging how little we know about each other, we can begin the work of really understanding each other. When we think we know someone already, it shuts down our curiosity over why they may react or behave in a certain way. If we dismiss a millennial or we roll our eyes at a boomer, then we're shutting down the chance to learn through empathy. When Mirabel and Abuela really understand each other's pain, they heal themselves, each other, and they begin to rebuild their home. When Mei Lin and her mother Ming say to each other, "These changes are scary because I'm scared our relationship is changing," they risk a vulnerability that ends up being powerfully healing. Their relationship does change, but in a good way that allows them to love each other in a more real way. It's all empathy with all of them. Like most of the things that we talk about here, the way these stories invite us to empathy isn't so much an idea to be agreed or disagreed with. Instead, it's an invitation to practice, to notice when someone is representing our fears, to notice when our rebellion is rooted in assumptions, to seek out the rest of the story, to ask what gifts do other generations have to offer us that we might be missing because they don't fit in our worldview. There are so many gifts. We can discover, like Mirabel did, that the miracle is not some magic that you've got. The miracle is you, not some gift. Just you. My friends, the miracle is you, all of you, just as you are.
We burn bright, this constellation, this family. Our chalice light reminds us that all of who we are is a gift. The misfit parts, the scary parts, the ordinary parts, and the extraordinary parts, the hurting and the healing parts. As we extinguish this flame, we carry it with us from this place, that we can be a light everywhere we go. There's a lot of it. We thank you for being with us today. I don't think I made that better. We hope that you are giving some thought to how you want to be part of this community that works together. We hope that you'll linger after the service and join us for coffee hour. You can find coffee and cookies that way. Our playground is out back that way too, and we ask that in order to stay safe, that you make sure your kids are under your supervision both before and after our services. All families and kids are invited to join us for a religious education registration pizza party right now on the back deck. While the families are doing that, our bus riders, and I should say when I say right now is following the service, right now. Don't leave yet. While the families are doing that, our bus riders will also be eating pizza, making posters, and tie-dyeing t-shirts, and doing some planning for their trip to DC. That will be happening in our fellowship hall, the Fred Ballroom. One of the great things about being Unitarian Universalist is that we all engage in the free and responsible search for truth and meaning together. On the Sunday closest to the 4th of July, we celebrate this collective search with our Soapbox Sunday service. Instead of having one preacher, our friends and members sign up to have a few minutes behind the pulpit to get up on their metaphorical soapbox to tell us about something that they are passionate about. To sign up or for more information, talk to Reverend Tiffany or email her at minister@hvууc.org. You can learn more about the many opportunities for fellowship, justice work, and working together by visiting our website, hvuuc.org, and checking out our news and events sections.
Thank you for being with me and Mirabelle and May today. It's such a gift to have you. And I hope that you'll join us next week when longtime member Charlie Mattioli shares his message, Beyond the Tree of Good and Evil. He's going to be asking some intriguing questions, and I am so curious to see where he's going to go with it. Next Sunday, we will not be having coffee hour. We just don't have the volunteer support for it. Now, if you really don't like that and you want to swoop in and volunteer for next Sunday, I will need to hear from you right after the service. But plan to be a little less caffeinated next week. Next time you come visit us in person, I hope you'll bring some donations to the local food pantry. We've got a big tub that's sitting right out there at the entrance when you come in, and we will receive whatever you want to give. Thank you so much for your generosity and for your care for the people in this community. This one's kind of serious. I think I'll put the panda back. Tonight at 6:30 p.m., I would like to invite you to join us at our Zoom General Assembly Forum. General Assembly is the annual meeting of the Unitarian Universalist Association. During this time, I will share information about the business resolutions and national board candidates that our delegates will be voting on. Our delegates will be in attendance so that they can hear your opinions on these things, so that they can best represent you at General Assembly. You can find information about how to register for this meeting on our website. This benediction is for all of us, no matter who in our stories we identify with. May our Mirabelles be included always and see their gifts celebrated. May all our May-Lins embrace the full range of their feelings. May our sister Louisas be blessed with invitations to rest and a reassurance of their worth. May all in our circle of friends, our Miriams, Priyas, and Abbies, know how important they are for our growth and receive the same love that they give. May all our sister Isabellas be imperfectly, unexpectedly wild and free, breaking the molds they try to fit themselves into. May all our Mother Mings heal the unloved parts of themselves by loving their kids as they are. May all of our Tio Brunos be talked about with love and welcomed to our table. And may all our Grandma Woos celebrate seeing the generations turning curses back into blessings. And may all our abuelas be opened to the possibilities of new ways of caring for our communities. And may we, each of us, see these characters in the facets of our own selves and do our part for generational healing and understanding.